Today is just not my day. Holy crap. What a freaking morning. Oh, goodness. Okay, so we are going to. We went through. Do you guys remember? We went through the stuff uh with Anita Sarkeesian, right? That's where we were at, if I can remember correctly. Right. Welcome back. Thank you. Yes, Anita Sarkeesian. Okay. So we're back with that situation. Let me bring up, I've got these. Um you made it. You should also know that Elaine announced the appeal as promised. They did this. Okay. So the thing with, we're going to go over the appeal stuff, but the thing with the appeal is Amber has to have all of the money. Amber has to have all of the money ready to go in order to actually do an appeal. She has to have the $8.35 million. And coming up with that kind of cash is pretty fucking hard. So the appeal is going nowhere. It's just PR stuff, right? So let's talk about Anita Sarkeesian, and then we'll go over what Elaine had to say. And then we will go over, we've got a statement from Amber Heard, and we've got a statement from Johnny Depp, and all of that fun stuff. All right, what is Anita? Oh, that's what I was saying. Robert, can you get, or one of the mods, can you guys get the link for Nerdy Girl Creates? Because she actually sent these to me, and she sent me this and one where it said, I put it on my community post yesterday. What the Amber Heard verdict means for Black women, or something like that, or what it has to say. I was just kind of in shock, like, what? I think I got what they were going for, but it was really, really poorly put. It was ridiculous. So we've got a wide scale, if I can talk today. Like I said, not exactly my day. I am not very good at talking on a normal basis, let alone when I get frustrated. It's a wide scale celebration and joy of a survivor. Being gaslit is horrifying. If a rich white woman can't even be believed, what about all of the BIPOC, queer, disabled folks, working class folks, and other marginalized survivors? Wait. Okay, let me read this again because this doesn't make sense to me. BIPOC, queer, disabled folks, working class folks, and other marginalized survivors supposed to feel. Wait, did she just say working class folks were marginalized or oppressed? Thank you for putting that. I want to make sure I give her credit, and she does really good. She does a lot more with manga than me. I told her we need to do a video together where it's like manga for dummies, because yeah, I'm the dummy in that situation. It's not terrible, but Anita, when there's any sort of basic outrage, Anita feels the need to put herself front and center. This is so spectacularly fucked up. I can't even fully grapple with the levels of misogyny. Here we go. That's why I made sure yesterday, or 2 days ago, when I did my final prediction video, I made sure I specified it is not misogynistic to not believe somebody that is a known liar, fabricating stories, that has known to embellish stories, that has zero evidence and actually contradictory evidence. It's not misogyny. None of that is misogyny. Okay, so let's read this again. This is so spectacularly fucked up, I can't even fully grapple with the level of misogyny on every single level of the process, starting with domestic violence and abuse and ending via legally vindicated gaslighting. Oh, that's a new thing. Legally vindicated gaslighting. Everybody's favorite form of gaslighting. Yeah, I just realized all the buzzwords I said equal out to about nonsense. Nonsense. Not only that, but they totally got my stream demonetized. So make sure you guys hit like, you lazy bums. No, I'm just kidding. Anita does this. This doesn't surprise me. There is this intersection of, let me move this, of women that feel the need for every other woman to be believed regardless of evidence. And I mean, I think at this point we know the level of, I don't know if it's cognitive dissonance. I don't know if it's just plain clownery. I don't know. This lazy bum gave it a like. Thank you, Joseph. I don't know what it is in this situation, but you can't go into something with the mindset of believe all no matter what. I don't care if any sort of person, I don't care what situation it is. You can put believe all redacted, right? You can put believe all men, believe all BIPOC, believe all queer folk. That you can't go into the mindset of that, because then you open it up for, and it's exactly what a lot of the Me Too movement adapted towards the latter part of it, is the ability for people to fabricate and expect complete and 100% hi bye Bianca, and expect people to believe them 100%. You can't. It opens it up for stuff like that. Thank you so much. In fantasy I die. I want Dr. Curry and Camille to gaslight me all night, but in fantasy I die, do you want, oh, what was it, legally vindicated gaslighting? Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Thank you so much. I kind of like this. This is funny. Gotham by Nerdette's newsstand gaslight. So this whole thing is ridiculous. That is basically my favorite kind. That is basically what we're gonna get from a lot of these people. Whether this isn't a political thing, and that's what these people need to remove from it. This is a are they victim blaming? And it, speaking of victim blaming, if we take a look at Warner Brothers, wouldn't they have to give Johnny a role? Because they're protecting an abuser, while right now, legally speaking, they fired somebody that was in a court of law with a jury of the peers found to be basically that was false. Not only that, but he was the one that was being abused. Do you see how this makes people look? Like, at some point you have to look at it and go, okay, all right, you gotta watch. It's there's nothing political about believing a man. There's not. There's nothing political about not believing this woman. There's nothing political about wanting justice for a, like, yesterday, a huge subset of people got a voice. They got a voice that they didn't have before. Somebody in public saying, "Yep, I've been through it. I know how bad it can be." This was the biggest win for men to be able to come out and speak up. But they make it political. Don't bring your politics into it. Don't bring your politics into every single situation. I don't care which way you lean. If you are leaning right, does that mean you should automatically believe Johnny? Absolutely not. You need to look into the case. If you are left-leaning, does that mean you should automatically believe Amber? Absolutely not. It's irritating because it adds for no... It makes it so you don't have to think. And that's the biggest problem with this. They pretend like they can shut off to their political power or political party, and they don't have to think anymore. You just believe what they want you to believe, whether it's right or left. And that's the problem people have with this. Believe all evidence. Believe the evidence. Exactly. But no, of course not. It would be too freaking easy. And speaking of what we were talking about a little bit earlier, Amber defaming Johnny, I don't even know if you can do that, but that's absolutely what she did. We're going to read this statement. But bitch, you are dumb. I need to break here and say, bitch, you are dumb. Who actually doubles down on lies that were proven in a court of law by a jury of her peers? Who doubles down? All right. The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. Right fucking there. She mentions him by name. Well, her ex-husband, but she only has one ex-husband. Right fucking there. They had to prove in court that it was about him. She has no problem saying it now. This isn't criminal, honey. This isn't double jeopardy. This, you can get sued again. Are you so stupid? Are you that fucking Yes. Yes, you are. She's purposefully continuing to defame him because she needs to be consistent when she appeals. That's it. You actually think she's going to appeal? I mean, I have an article up about it. We'll go through it. But do you actually think she's going to have the money up front to appeal? I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. No, you're not, bitch. Shut up. It is not the issue of other women. Other women would have done better in the situation if it were real. In situations where cops show up because of domestic violence causes, there would be, for actual victims, proof right there. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. But the cop, both of them, called you a liar. It set back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. I don't think anybody in their right mind, except for maybe a few MGTOW people, thinks violence towards women should not and does not need to be taken seriously. I don't think a single man out there, again, save for a few, and even a small proportion of the MGTOW people act like this, think that women need to, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? Woman, who cares? Are you kidding me? Okay. I believe Johnny's attorney, naming him by name, succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech. My freedom! Oh my God. Oh my God, my freedom. Do you notice how they went for that? And I was so cringy. Oh. You have freedom of speech. You absolutely do. You do. You do not have the freedom to say defamatory statements to this degree with malice and intent. You do not have that freedom, no matter if you're a man, a woman, If you are black, white, it doesn't matter. This is showing that it was applied, the law was applied evenly. The law was applied Amber's Merkin, that's right. Women, there have been some women that were absolutely beaten or had worse. Yeah, I get it saying worse, but I think you can realize what I'm saying without saying it. And there's been some that haven't been believed. That is very true. And I think our as an institution, we've gotten better about believing women. But a lot of times it's also weaponized. And that's what you did. And that's what your legacy is. Amber Heard's legacy is not going to be Mira, is not going to be acting. It is going to be humiliating survivors. That's fucked up. I'm sad I lost the case, but I'm sadder still that I seem to have lost the right double down on America. That I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. Yeah, except for a lot of people misunderstand what freedom of speech actually is. You don't get to walk up to your boss and claim freedom of speech by yelling a bunch of profanities in their face. That is not how it works. You don't get to lie about another person with terrible lies. Terrible lies. That is not how freedom of speech works. Quit playing this card. Quit playing this card when you clearly don't know the limits of the free speech of the First Amendment. Yeah, it's mind-boggling. It is absolutely mind-boggling. We should take a look at. Let's compare this. Let's compare this to what Johnny had to say, because I think it is complete. Like, of course, I'm going to have a little bit of bias, right? I've never lied about that. But the fact that Johnny's definitely feels more humble. Ooh, I like that. Listen to all women. That is a much better start. Listen. I like that. I think that's a much better way to put it out there. But Johnny also came out and had a few things to say. And I believe they were much better said. I really do. I think it shows his humility. I think it shows the different types. And if you look, it looks like he has his comments open. I know she doesn't, but oh my goodness. So many different types of people supporting him. Joe Perry? Did I just see Joe Perry? Wait, look at all. Okay, so these all have blue check marks. Not that that means they're anybody important, but let them. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Adam Waldman. Joe Perry, I was right. I was freaking right. I saw Joe Perry. That's so cool. Wow, all of these people. And that's not even the end of them, but oh my goodness. There is so much. That's awesome. Robert, thank you so much. When Amber says Johnny's power, she means mind control. Yeah, pretty much. Joe Perry from Aerosmith, exactly. That is pretty much all she means, right? She messed up, not us. She's the one who formed this, not Johnny. And it does seem to be her saying, I fucked up by not, where's Waldman? by not being able to keep him on a leash or keep the control on guard, right? So basically, I'm gonna move this to just for a second because it's really hard to read for you guys. But he says, 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those closest to me, and also the lives of the people for whom many, many years have supported and believed in me were forever changed, all in the blink of an eye. False, very false, and criminal allegations were levied at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content. Although no charges were ever brought against me, it had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and my career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I am truly humbled. He has a way with words. I don't know who wrote this, but we even seen during the trial the way he's able to he thinks very carefully about what he says, and then in writing even more so. He has a definite way with words. My decision to pursue this case, knowing very well the height of the legal hurdles that I would be facing and the inevitable worldwide spectacle into my life, was only made after considerable thought. Yeah, everybody at the beginning was saying it's going to be really hard. Defamation cases are really hard to win. They are one of the highest bars to win. Yep. And he actually did. What does that say about Amber? You know what I mean? What does that say about her? From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this case to reveal the truth regardless of the outcome, speaking the truth was something I owed my children and to all those who remained steadfast in their support of me. Bane, go. Go, go, go. Yeah. Um, where was I? It said, okay, I feel at peace knowing I have finally accomplished that. I think there's a second page. Yep. I am and have been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and the colossal support and kindness from those around the world. I hope that my quest to have the truth be told will have helped others, men or women. I love that. I love that. I love that. Um, men or women who have found themselves in this situation, and that those supporting them never give up. I also hope that the position will now return to innocent until proven guilty. Oh, that's a big dream there. Oh, that's a big dream. Okay, that's a big dream there, especially in the eyes of the public, both within the courts and in the media. Now, in the courts, I don't think that changed, but yes, in the public, it seems to have reversed itself, right? I wish to acknowledge the noble work of the judge, the jurors, the court staff, and the sheriff who have sacrificed their own time to get to this point. And to my diligent and unwavering legal team who did an extraordinary job in helping me share the truth. The best is yet to come, as the new chapter has finally begun. Truth never perishes. Well said. Really, really well said. I think I know it's not just me, right? Like, you can feel the humility in that comparatively. And honestly, that was great. That was really, really good. I think Johnny had a great statement there. He didn't even have to mention her by name or say ex wife. He didn't have to or feel like he had to drag her even more. Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. So, what would you guys rather look at first? We've got Elaine running her mouth, or yeah, let's go to Elaine running her mouth. Then we'll go to the appeal. Can you do it in a vector? Oh my gosh. Even my aunt, who's a feminist, radical, and a TERF, and she was clearly, oh, wow, that's amazing. So I said, you don't bring politics into this, and you have no issue. None whatsoever. But when people like Anita bring politics into this and start their crap, yeah, that's when the issue starts to unravel, right? So this is what Robert sent. Basically, it is Elaine running her mouth. Elaine, honey, stop. Like, we all kind of felt bad for you for what you had to put up with. But I don't think we're gonna feel bad after this. Let's see. Wait, what did I just got a notification that I thought it said Johnny Depp is on TikTok. I'm like, I don't think he is. But somebody always pretends, right? And Lane needs money for cat food. That's right. Okay, let me unmute it here because I have it muted. Let's see what Elaine has to say.
Your jury's decision to side with Johnny Depp in his defamation lawsuit is drawing both condemnation and praise. The verdict came after 6 weeks of very dramatic testimony from both sides. She claimed that he abused her, while he said she was the abuser. In his reaction, Depp wrote, the goal of bringing the case was to reveal the truth.
So we just get a little catch up here in the beginning.
Elaine Charlson-Bredehoff is the attorney for Amber Heard and is with us now. And we should mention, we did also reach out to Johnny Depp's team, but they declined to be interviewed this morning.
She's actually on here. I thought it was just like, oh my God, this is going to be good. Okay. Barlow's Rotten Crotch, one of the best names ever. Oh my God, thank you so much. Amber texting, hey babe, I lost. Can I borrow 8.5 million? Elon, a new phone? Who does? Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, sorry. He even said, I wish them both best in their future endeavors. Like, he was just kind of done with it. Thank you so much, Eve Barlow's Rotten Crotch. Oh my God. That's so funny. I never thought I'd say that sentence ever in my life. Oh, Elaine. We're going to put it at 1.25 because I have no patience for this bitch.
Elaine, thank you. We're so very glad you're here.
Thank you.
We heard Amber's reaction to the verdict yesterday. This seems to be a huge victory for Johnny Depp this morning.
Yeah, a major setback for women inside the courtroom and outside the courtroom.
Because?
Because basically what this said, Amber had an enormous amount of evidence, although a lot of it was suppressed in this case as opposed to the UK. But look at all the women who have no evidence. All these women who suffer from domestic violence, domestic abuse, they don't have evidence. And basically what this jury said is unless you pull out your cell phone and you...
That voice will give me nightmares at this point. Like, I'm not going to lie, that voice is going to give me nightmares after all the crap we heard from her during this trial. That voice is going to give me nightmares.
You tape record your spouse beating you. You're out of luck.
But Elaine, I think it was bigger than that because you had the evidence, as you say, but they did not believe her. Why do you think they did not believe her?
I think that a lot of that was that it was Johnny Depp. I think the celebrity status.
But she's a celebrity too.
And it's not only not
she's
her.
but she's a celebrity too.
Right.
But you have to remember, it's a tale of two trials. All the evidence came in the UK. Mr. Depp brought that one. The burden of proof was on the son in the UK because they had called him a wife beater and talked about the domestic violence. He had his opportunity to tell the truth then. And a 3-week trial, he lost. The judge found 12 acts of domestic violence, including sex.
That's what she's going to go for. Well, the UK did a better job. They did a better job. Clearly, there was evidence that she was not allowed to have in for a reason. What was that reason? Like, there has to be a reason that it was admissible. And don't act like Johnny didn't have evidence on his side that was admissible too. We've talked about why haven't they included some of these things that we've personally seen. But it's because that's how the court works. And she feels extremely, extremely jaded. Blaming Johnny Depp for being cool makes her look more foolish. I love how these people are just eating it up too. Like, can you, okay, I want you to just for a second switch, right? And this was a lawyer coming on here to talk about a female abuse survivor. Would that be allowed? The way that they're victim blaming in this situation because he's a man? I don't know. What's the opposite of misogynistic? I don't know. I'm just saying. It's worse here. Okay. We'll look over there in a minute.
Sexual violence. And that came out November 2, 2020. We weren't allowed to tell the jury that.
Well, it's a different system, and the judge, it wasn't a jury, it was a judge. The judge said it was substantially
Wait, what
true.
were they allowed?
And
I
that
missed
is
it.
significant.
Sexual violence. And that while he lost. The judge found 12 acts of domestic violence, including sexual violence. And that came out November 2, 2020. We weren't allowed to tell the jury.
They weren't allowed to tell that he lost in the UK. I hate to break it to you, Elaine, but everybody knows. Every single person knows. There's no way at least the majority of them did not know. That would not have changed your case. That would not have changed anything.
Read that.
Well, it's a different system, and the judge, it wasn't a jury, it was a judge. The judge said it was substantially true, and that is significant, and I think surprised a lot of legal analysts. But, in this case, the jury not only didn't believe Amber Heard, but in ruling that she acted with actual malice, that means she had the intent to cause harm, right? That's a pretty high standard to have proven.
And it's pretty amazing since the op-ed never even mentioned Mr. Depp.
Oh, my God. I hate this bitch. I'm sorry, but what? Misandry, that's the word. Thank you. What? Listen to what she says again.
Believe Amber Heard, but in ruling that she acted with actual malice, that means she had the intent to cause harm, right? That's a pretty high standard to have proven.
And it's pretty amazing since the op-ed never even mentioned Mr. Depp. You have to remember that.
Because it never mentioned him by name, we couldn't tell exactly who you were talking about. The man says it's a high bar. Then obviously Johnny's done his job. But if this were, again, going back to this being talking about a female, this would not be fucking allowed. But because it is a man in this situation, and I hate to go all identity politics on you, but it is the truth. It's fucked up.
That what they learned from the UK case is to demonize Amber, which is what they did, and to try to suppress as much of the evidence that came in the UK and did not come in the United States. But the other problem, we had cameras in the courtroom. So here we had, not only did we have a group of Depp fans that were there every day, 100 were allowed in. They lined up at 1 o'clock in the morning for their wristbands.
Okay. She sounds a little jaded, and I understand being in that court. I understand she was in the courtroom dealing with this from day to day to day. The Depp fans would probably get annoying because they're not there and lining up at 1 o'clock in the morning for Amber Heard. It would probably get annoying. It would probably feel a little disproportionate. But the how do I say this correctly? How jaded she sounds like a bitter ex-girlfriend that ended up being the fat one and is looking at the new girlfriend and going, oh, fuck. Yeah, I see why he left me. That's what it sounds like.
To be in that courtroom. But we had everything on camera, and we had tremendous social media that was very, very, very much against Amber.
It was pointed out that was a...
Okay. I've said this on many times. You have to ask yourself why over and over again until you get to an actual answer. So why were there so many people on social media for Johnny and against Amber? Well, you could start off with they were fans. You could even start there. Why were they fans? Because he's an actor. And you can keep going. Why did they end up believing him if they were not fans? Maybe they saw themselves in him to the point where they were like, I've been there. I know what it's like to be with a narcissist. I know what it's like to be with somebody like that. Or you could even go to the other side and go, I've seen the evidence. I have seen the evidence, the contradictory evidence, the way she changes things, the way that she said, something simple like when she got caught in a lie right on the stand, Camille Vasquez actually caught her say, if I was going to leak something, I know a better way how. Or I would. I know I could do it better. And then Camille spits back saying, I thought you didn't know. You literally testified to not knowing how to leak things. I don't even know how to do that. Okay, sure.
First time that a victim of sexual abuse had to testify on live television.
And I fought hard and lost that battle.
So-
It should not have happened.
So I'm a
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not gonna lie. I because it's a defamation trial, it's a little bit different. But I don't think that an actual, now we're going to use the word actual here because I'm not talking about Amber Heard, an actual survivor of domestic violence or sexual assault should have to testify in with cameras. Yeah, I don't like that. But again, we're talking about defamation and they'd actually have to be a victim. The bottle was truly the victim. The bottle didn't exist, so that's the thing.
former NFL player. And after a hard loss, it's easy to wake up and point to the other side. Oftentimes, I realized the better thing to do was to look in the mirror. What mistakes did I make as a player? What mistakes did our coaching staff make? And then how can we improve from there? Do you feel like you guys made any mistakes along the way? Do you feel like Amber made a mistake while she was on the stand? Because you're saying it's the celebrity, it's Johnny, it's the people who support him. But what about you and your team?
Well, and that's an excellent question. And to say, and you know, Amber even said on the stand.
That's a really good question. That instead of going and blaming the other side, instead of being like, you know what, I lost because Johnny has fans. I lost because of this. No, what could I do? What could I do? What did I do wrong? That's why you see he's an NFL player specifically. Them rewatch tapes of their practices or their actual football games. They'll watch the tapes to see what they did wrong so they can fix it. I think Elaine needs to rewatch some of the tapes from the jury, from the deliberation.
I am not perfect. I am a human being. These people were giving her death threats. They threatened to microwave her baby. This is the kind of social media she was getting. So are any of us perfect? No. Is there something else we feel we should have done?
Again, I'll say it again, and I'll say it over and over again. No death threats are justified. No death threats towards an innocent bystander are ever justified.
Yes, I absolutely. I always do my closings 100 times afterwards, whether I win or lose. That's part of being a good lawyer, a good trial lawyer, is there's always something. But I think that there were a lot of influences here that were beyond our control. And I think the social media, it was like a Roman.
They weren't allowed to look. I'm not saying they didn't look, but how can she blame social media when, to her knowledge, they never looked? How can she use that as a get out of jail free card for losing?
Coliseum is the best way to describe the atmosphere here. And I have to believe that the jury, even though they're told not to go and look at anything, they have weekends, they have families, they have
they were not
media,
sequestered. They were not sequestered.
And the 10-day period we had, how could they not have been influenced?
But Elaine, for most people watching this trial,
see, she's saying I know they did it anyways, even though they were not allowed to. It's an out. It's a get out of jail free card. That's what she's using it as.
a lot of people, as you know, got huge views. It just seemed to be so messy and salacious and so tawdry on both sides. On both sides.
Damn, she said on both sides. She just called her out and said on you. On your side too. Robert, thank you so much. But Tris, it was a handful of threats, so it's okay. No. Absolutely not. I know you're being a smartass, but absolutely not. 0 death threats are okay. Let me repeat that. 0 death threats are okay. 0 people in this situation, it's not okay. But you don't get to blanket everybody and say that that's just Johnny's side. Child, show the evidence. Yeah, and in this situation, you are right. Why? I mean, I guess maybe because it was a trial, but just like the Moses Ingram situation. You want me to believe you? Show the receipts. Yep, she did. Very clearly, she did. None of that is okay. Did Amber show these receipts, these death threats? And I do believe she probably got some. I do believe, and the only reason I say so is because I have seen some comments in some of my short content that wish death upon Amber, and I'll delete them, or I'll say, oh my God, I sound old. I'll reprimand them. But in this situation, I do believe she probably got them. Yeah, because I've seen stuff in my own content, let alone like, oh, this bitch needs to die. Yeah, no, she doesn't. She needs to tell the truth. She needs to actually be alive to actually get justice served, and that's exactly what happened yesterday. So yeah, I do believe that they exist, but no level of death threats basically are okay. New sub. I find it very funny how many talk shows she went on. Yeah. Has Johnny went on any? I don't think so.
And I think for a lot of people from the outside looking in thought both of them were not telling the truth and that they mutually abused each other. Do you not believe that was the case?
No, and that's
Aha. JSS Tiger. Thank you so much. The JD train leaving the station with 8.35 million. And guess what? Guess what's great about that? Because it was proved with intent, and you cannot, let me repeat this, you cannot claim bankruptcy because you did it with malicious intent. Sorry about your luck, Amber. You have to pay that. And he can go to the courts, whether or not he does, I don't know, because that's not a lot of what this is about. But he can have that enforced. Like, he can literally have her, no, what's it called? Where you take money out of the paycheck each week. Oh, I can't think of what that's called. But he can have it done. He can put a lien on her home. He can do whatever he feels like at this point because it was done with malicious intent, and she cannot claim bankruptcy. Thank you so much, JSS Tiger. Garnishment. Thank you, garnishment. He can have her garnished. He can have her paycheck garnished. Goodness gracious. She really messed up. The truth always comes out.
That's one of the many misnomers. The way that Depp's team approached this was based on ignorance of domestic violence. It completed the cycle of violence and just said, oh, she wouldn't have done this if he had been hitting her. That was their approach.
So you thought that they weren't fighting fair?
What? What? Okay, we got to back up just a little bit because I don't know who this is, but she said basically it seems like it was toxic on both sides, right? And a lot of people say that. You can just have a toxic relationship, but you got to remember there's always a perpetrator of that initial toxicity. There's always a reason why the reactive violence happens. And reactive violence can be defending yourself, running away into 6 different rooms and a bathroom. The reactive violence can be name calling and toxicity. But there's always somebody perpetrating that violence.
Do not believe that was the case?
No, and that's one of the many misnomers. The way that Depp's team approached this was based on ignorance of this. It completely ignored the cycle of violence and just said, oh, she wouldn't have done this if he had been hitting her. That was their approach.
So you thought that they weren't fighting fair?
What? Are you serious? They ignored the cycle of violence? They actually brought that up in both of the original, when they were talking about kind of like their backstory, right? Oh, goodness, I missed the super chat. I'm so sorry. Eve Barlow's Rotten Couch. Folks should stop talking about microwaving Amber's baby. That's gross. It's absolutely gross. That's gross. Don't ever say anything like that. Yes, absolutely. For best results, shut the fuck up! I didn't read the rest of it. For best results, wrap it in foil and put it preheated oven and gas mark 6 to 3 hours. Oh my God, no, no, absolutely. Oh my God, your icon is no, and his name goes out of my head. The Johnny's guy. I even follow him on TikTok now. I can't think of his name. Oh my God, no. We leave the babies alone. They did nothing in this situation. Everywhere community. The guy gave her a nugget of gold after a lose. Look at you and your team, and she ignored him. Well, I was trying to think. You know, he wasn't there. I was curious if after the win, he was going to look at her, kind of like that, you know, kind of like I got you kind of thing, which would have been cool. But yeah. Thank you so much, everywhere community. The microwave thing was stolen. Are you surprised? Please tell me you're shocked. You are so shocked she stole something from someone else, like half of her testimony.
Correct. I don't think they were fighting fair.
And you think Amber Heard is, in fact, a survivor of domestic?
Lawyers? Wait, this is a crazy concept. Lawyers were not fighting fair? Lawyers. We're not. She's trying to take the moral high ground. I fought fair for my person. Now, no lawyers fight fair.
Yes, I absolutely believe that. And there's a tremendous amount of evidence, much of which did not come into this trial, did come into the UK trial.
I honestly, and let me know if you know of any, but I can't think of any evidence that was in the UK trial. And I went through every single day, all the different evidence things, all of the different that would help Amber. There was actually some really weird knife stuff that would hurt her, but I can't think of anything that would have helped her in this situation. No, I'm curious if she'll say what evidence besides the verdict, but that wasn't enough.
We even had more evidence. We had mental health records that went back to 2012 that were contemporaneous. We had text messages from Mr. Depp's assistant saying, when I told him that he had kicked you, he cried.
So how is she today, Elaine? How is she today? What is her next?
I do remember that text. And there was another really weird thing that they allowed in the UK court that may have helped her. I don't know. It depends on how stupid you think people are. If your view on humanity is like they're all dumb, it may have helped her. She wrote an email log to herself during the relationship and never sent it or something like that. Other than that, I honestly cannot think of. I'd have to go back through, but I can't think of anything that was a big gotcha in that case that was not in this case also.
Next move.
She's right. Well, her next move appeal. There were
she's heartbroken.
She is heartbroken. And one of the first things that she said when she came back from the verdict, when we went into the conference room, was, "I am so sorry to all these women."
She said that?
Yes, she
Oh,
felt
I'm so
like she
sure.
had let down all of these women because she had more evidence than
Probably
most
did
people
the Charlie Brown
and yet
one.
they still didn't believe her.
Elaine Charleston, Bredehoff, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thank
We'll be
Wow.
right back.
Thanks for sending that, Robert. That was good. That was ridiculous, but it was good at the same time. Yeah, I don't know what could have helped her. She's never stopped. She's a narcissist. That's right. That's right. And the fact that is Amber Heard moving to the UK, I feel bad for her second husband. I think she's dating is that a video, Robert, or is that an article? I think she's dating Ybarra right now. I know she was with Tassia Von Ree, but to my understanding, they broke up. Let me bring it up. I'll see. Oh, it is a video. Wait, they're telling me I can't have my ad blocker on? Screw you. Okay, once. No, I don't mean screw you once. I mean, I'll let it go through once. All right. This one's worse. I don't know how. How can it be worse? You should play the video I sent you. Wait, what, the funny one? Wait, you sent me a video? I had some people send me some funny videos yesterday. Wait. Stop. You're playing the video. Stop. Okay. Let me figure this out. What the heck? Her and Ybarra will be doing crafts. Crafts donated from maybe her 3 fans. Like, I don't know how she's going to afford to be able to do crafts. Elon, what video did you send? Amber will be the Duchess of Bullshit. She already is. I'm trying to look and see if you sent a video, but I don't see it. Yes, the funny one. Okay, that's what I thought you meant. Let's go through these. I think I might save those, and we could do a reaction stream to all of them. All of them. All of the insanity that actually. Okay, what's this? How many? Let me bring it up. Okay. I got it up for. I want to do a reaction to all of the craziness that has unfolded, but I want to make this one a little bit more serious. A little bit more serious. Okay. I'm going to move the chat over so you guys can see this a little bit more. I should have done that last time. I'm sorry. I'm an asshole. I'm sorry. All right. We've got. I'm going to turn it up. Let me know if it's too loud. Come on. What website are we on? USA Today? Is that what this is? I don't know what that is.
First question, how is Amber doing? We saw her hearing that verdict. It took a long
you
time
not-
to read.
okay.
It was a sweeping verdict for Johnny Depp. How did she handle it?
You know, one of the first things she said is, "I am so sorry."
Oh
to
my
all
God,
those
here we go
women
again.
out there. This is a setback for all women in and outside the courtroom, and she feels it, and she feels the burden of that.
Well, knowing the case and knowing the law, as you certainly do, it frankly
Hey,
it
is that-
favors defendants. Like,
Is that Katie Couric, if I'm remembering the name correctly? I believe that is. Wasn't she like a legitimate no, I knew you emailed the funny ones to me. I just didn't know if you meant something in the chat. But wasn't she a legitimate journalist for one point in her life? I mean, I guess this is a legitimate thing to talk about. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is you can't. Well, we'll see. Maybe she'll ask hardballs, but she's starting with the same thing over and over again. The PR told them to say. She said she was sorry for other people. Oh my God. She's so selfless. Look at that angel. Da-da-da. Angelic music. I can't do it.
Amber Heard. Are you stunned that the jury essentially rejected her story?
Well, you know, really what happened here is it's a tale of two trials. Johnny Depp brought a suit in the UK for the same case, and the burden of proof was easier for him there. The Sun had to actually.
So is she? Oh my goodness, Elaine, honey. All right, sure. It was one person that had connections to not only Rupert Murdoch but Amber Heard. That was totally fair, right? But a jury of peers decides it, and it's unfair. Okay.
Prove that it was true, and the court found there, and we weren't allowed to tell the jury this, but the court found that Ms. Depp had committed at least 12 acts of domestic violence, including sexual violence, against Amber. So what did Depp's team learn from this? Demonize Amber and suppress the evidence. We had an enormous amount of evidence that was suppressed in this case that was in the UK case.
This feels like
In
she's
the
saying the
UK
exact
case, when
same
it
thing
came
over and
in,
over again.
Amber won, Mr. Depp lost.
But here's the thing. You were able
know
to get
what?
some
You're
evidence that you
lying.
say demonstrated.
She's literally not mentioning to any single person listening that hasn't followed this case. She's doing this hoping for ignorance of the audience. The case in the UK was not against Amber. Remember that. He didn't lose to Amber. He lost to a conglomerate known as the Sun, who is owned by Rupert Murdoch. who the lawyer or the judge over there has ties to. That is more of justice than losing specifically to Amber, or winning, I'm sorry, to Amber, having a jury decide, make it make sense. He lost to the scum. Yes. Yes, not Amber. But did she mention that? A reminder that the hearing for the true restraining order, yeah, the other one was the TRO, a temporary restraining order. That was under an emergency. So the actual restraining order trial was, our court date was canceled. That means there was no evidence to use in that hearing. That's right. But in the UK, it was better.
Abuse. You certainly had her testimony. There were pictures, documents, all kinds of evidence. But in point of fact, the jury rejected it. You argue in your closing arguments that if they found even one instance of abuse, and it did not even have to be physical abuse, that they would have to find for Amber Heard, and they didn't.
And the other part to bear in mind here is nothing changed. The op-ed didn't even mention Mr. Depp.
Oh God, she knows this is back to back. 2 PR teams assign them what to say. A PR team told her what she can say in these interviews. This is very clear. JSS Tiger, thank you so much. But it was Amber's testimony in this trial, and the reason that was the reason he won here and not in the UK. That's right. That is absolutely correct. Amber brought new things to this one. Elaine is hunted by that umbrella guy. That's right. That's absolutely right. Thank you so much, JSS Tiger. I know, I find it hilarious. She's like, I would not be surprised if she was if she having pretty bad dreams of a man in dark, and all of a sudden he jumps out and he's got an umbrella. Like, come on now. Okay. Elaine is actually a turkey in disguise. No, there's no disguise.
And so what basically they did here is demonize her. And they were able to suppress the medical records, which were very, very significant because they showed a pattern going.
They actually had quite a bit of medical records in this. I would be curious the ones, I'd have to go back and look at the UK ones, but I would be curious the ones that they suppressed, because I don't remember right off the top of my head any medical records saying anything to the effect of her being hurt. I could be wrong, but I do not honestly remember it. Ybarra loves rotten crotch. I swear, you're just... Yeah, I just have to say this out loud so many times, it cracks me up. No good whining on CBS News about a setback for women, Elaine. They can't even tell us what a woman is anymore without having a meltdown. Wait, really? Wait, okay. Let me process this. They can't even tell us what a woman is anymore. Oh, I get it. I can't think of the lady's name. They asked her what a woman was when she was doing the stuff with the Supreme Court. Is that what it is? Oh my gosh, that's funny. It takes me a minute sometimes. I have to process thing, but I think that's what you mean. I think a woman is pretty easily defined, but also at the same time it's not. There's a lot that goes into being a woman. It's not just your chromosomes, right? If you're going to define a woman, would you go straight to chromosomes, or would you go to somebody more maternal? Would you go to somebody that's a badass? Like, there's a lot of ways to define a woman. So, I get it, but then again, I also think it's a pretty easily to define, and there's a lot of really positive traits about being a woman. Like, just the fact of being girly, is something I fucking love. I'm sorry, dudes, but sucks to be a dude. Like, I would be the most girly dude ever. I don't know. That's pretty funny. Okay. Let's continue. Thank you so much. I gotta say it again. Thank you so much, Barlow's Rotten Crotch.
Going all the way back to 2012 of Amber reporting this to her therapist, for example. We had significant amount of texts, including from Mr.
Right, and that's what I said. I literally said in the trial, I remember bringing that up. She said she told her therapist, prove it.
Saying, when I told him he kicked you, he cried. He is so sorry.
That is the only thing they have.
Is there any
Notice
other
how
way
she
to
keeps,
interpret
so
this?
it does seem like there was some stuff that was not admissible, but it seems like she's only going with the same ones, which makes me think it was a very minimal, right? Like, if there was something other than that text from his assistant, which we've learned over and over again, it was much easier to placate Amber than it was to actually go head to head with her. So, if that's all it was, again, I don't think that would have swayed anything. And why was it admissible? I really don't.
Verdict, though, that this jury, for whatever reason, and I hear you on some of the evidence that they didn't hear, listening to Amber Heard, did not believe a single word.
You know, and that's because she was demonized here. A number of things
Same
were
thing.
allowed
Demonized,
in
demonized,
this court
demonized.
that should not have been allowed, and it caused the jury to be confused. We weren't allowed to tell.
What? The jury was confused. Oh my God, I would be so mad if I was one of the jurors listening to this right now. This bitch just called you dumb. Said you can't understand the crash course in Depp and Heard canon that you just took for the last 7 weeks. Even her photo evidence is very vague. Yes, and clearly messed with. Like, there's been so many people that have come out and said, yep, I'm a victim. This is what happened to me, and you can see the difference. I don't really want you to have to go out searching for it, because it can be very, like, I guess the best way to put it is triggering. It's terrible. It's terrifying. Don't search it out, but you would be able to tell a clear and utter difference between the two.
Tell them about the UK judgment. So the damages is completely skewed. There are no damages. It stopped in November 2, 2020, which is when the judgment came down in the UK.
Again, back to the
Let me ask you
judgment
about
in the UK.
social media in this case. Unlike any celebrity case, certainly I've ever covered or ever seen, social media was a part of this. And it was incredibly lopsided and vitriolic against Amber Heard. Do you think that had an effect on the case?
Absolutely.
Do you think jurors were
Oh my
aware
God.
of it? They weren't supposed
I
to be.
love that they're showing TikToks. You know what? You know what sucks about it is we'll listen to the rest of this, but I'm pretty sure that somebody somewhere has gotten a hold of that. Remember when Brie Larson was getting a shit ton of hate for that quote when she's wearing the pink dress? I know you guys remember it. She says something to the effect of, this wasn't made for you, right? Talking about 45-year-old white dudes or something like that. Remember that time period? Okay, I'm going to take you back there. Remember, then shortly thereafter, Rotten Tomatoes changed it so you have to have bought a ticket in order to actually review the movie, which I think was a great change because it makes it easier or harder to review bomb, but you still get review bombs on Metacritic and other ways. But remember that time period, there was a change to YouTube where you basically never were able to talk about that situation again. Whereas, say, day one through 15, you talked about Brie Larson and you got mega views, right? So everybody joined in. And then day 16 through 30, YouTube caught it right like that. You would get views for the people that had your notification on, and then it would drop off. You would be buried, absolutely buried. YouTube would suppress your video. I'm pretty sure that is exactly what happened with Amber stuff. That is exactly what happened. Unless it was just the influx, the mass amount of people of jumping on the bandwagon, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. Brie Larson got a lot of hate because loser-ass white dudes knew they didn't have a chance of their. She got a lot of unneeded hate. She still does. And it's funny because if you look at that time period, you have people like Christian Bale saying the exact same thing. The exact same thing. Let me repeat that. We've also had people like Tom Holland saying the exact same thing. But they don't get any hate. It's pretty funny. But I think that's what either that happened with Amber or it was a bandwagon jumping where a lot of people jumped on that and there was just so much on the market. But I haven't seen Captain Marvel either. I really have. I don't know. I don't know if I want to waste my time. Chris Evans is way more political than Brie. Facts. Fucking facts. There are so many people. Gal Gadot, she said the same thing. She said she believes all women should be feminists. How can you not be a woman and be feminist? Like, but they all centered in on her. And a lot of people, you would get views on it, it went away. That's exactly what happened with Amber Heard. Now, again, it could be because there was a lot of channels that were like, I make a craft. Look at my craft. I make a Fortnite video. Look at my Fortnite video. And then they were like, fuck Amber Heard. I'm going to post this. I'm going to post that. So it could have been the massive flood of it. But when I would talk generally about the situation, I don't want to sound like egotistical. This is going to come off a little shitty, okay? Prepare for shitty. I got a couple videos that really exploded. And then all of a sudden, and I can watch it in real time happen. I can put out something about Amber Heard and watch all the people that at least have my notifications on or subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Watch it, and I can watch it in real time, be buried in the algorithm. Like, it can go from getting, say, 100 views a minute to getting one view an hour. Like, they bury your shit at this point. And I'm pretty sure not only, like, TikTok was the worst offender. I was getting hundreds of thousands of views over there, and now I'm getting 57. Like, what? That doesn't happen. I get it. It was a big deal for a while, but we know how you play. Come on now. We've been through this game before and again and again and again. And it's unfortunately happening right now with Amber Heard, but I don't care. I don't look at any of those people putting out stuff. I mean, I call them, like I said, bandwagon, but that's just because that's a term everyone knows. I look at it as getting the truth out there. If they're getting the fucking truth out there in this situation, that's not competition. That's the truth prevailing. And I think that's way more important than a couple of fucking views. So anyways, yeah. I made that point about social media. I had to bring it up because it happens in real time and it's fucking crazy.
Admonished every single day. Don't look at it. Do you think they did see it?
How can you not? They went home every night. They have families. The families are on social media. We had a 10-day break.
If that is what they're supposed to do, any respectable person would be like, hey, when I come home, you know what trial I'm at. You know this. Don't show me your TikToks. Don't show me your Twitters or your Facebooks or your YouTubes. Don't show me these things. Just respect my boundary there, right? Any respectable person would do so, whether they have kids or spouses or they live with their fucking mom. It's a pretty basic boundary to establish.
Break in the middle because of the judicial conference. There's no way they couldn't have been influenced Spied, and it was horrible. It really, really was lopsided. I appreciate your saying that. It's like the Roman Colosseum, you know, how they viewed this whole case.
Again, we're going to go back to what I ask all the time. Why was it lopsided? Why? Ask why. And you'll know why. Everywhere community. Thank you so much. The different factions of feminists, and I doubt Gal Gadot is a UN modern feminist who bullied Wonder Woman when she was an UN honorary ambassador. Didn't they take, if I remember correctly, when Wonder Woman was an ambassador, didn't they take that away? I know she was for a while. Also, not being protective of Gal Gadot, but I also think that she looks at the word feminist and goes, okay, well, yeah, I am a feminist. I want equal rights for women. Yeah, that's what I want. She doesn't look at the people that have gone and basically made feminist a dirty word. Yes, 55 days now only. I thought so. Everywhere community. I mean, it still happened. It's still cool, but yeah. I don't think that necessarily looking at, I think there's this great demonization of feminists. And if you're, you know, a feminist who was, what would it be, third wave, when you just wanted regular stuff, or second wave? Was it second wave? I believe it was second wave. I don't know if we're third or fourth now. God, I don't even know because I don't keep up with it. Gal Gadot is an example of what a feminist should be. Exactly right. Exactly right. There are feminists out there that have you have to take into consideration when 2016 hit, there was this massive wave of cringe compilations with all the worst type of people in it, and they gave everybody that could consider themselves a feminist a bad name. There still is, like, yeah, woke compilations and cringe compilations. It's a huge money maker on YouTube. So they get the worst of the worst. Like that guy, remember that video where the girl he told a joke and he said his name was Humongous, Hugh space Mungus, like as a joke, right? And she went freaking insane. There is plenty of those. Oh, it's in the 5th or 6th wave. I don't know. I just want, I don't know what I would even call myself. I want equal rights for everybody, and that's not happening. That's just not. Bye, Carrie. Thank you for stopping by. It's just not. And it sucks. But I'll still speak out if I feel the need to. And trust me, I'm not afraid to. I've lost thousands of subscribers at one point for doing so.
I was against cameras in the courtroom, and I went on record with that and had argued against it because of the sensitive nature of this. But it made it a zoo.
Does your client want to appeal?
Oh, absolutely.
Here we
she
go.
has some excellent grounds for it. We even had tried to get the UK judgment in to dismiss his
and they
case
said,
because
"No,
he already
bitch."
had his shot. And that's one of the issues, but also a number of the evidentiary issues. There was so much evidence that did not come in.
Is she able to pay a $10.4 million judgment?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
I didn't think so.
Finally, in closing arguments, Amber's team argued that this would send a message, that it would send a message that no matter what you do as an abuse victim, you always have to do more. You need to be perfect in order for people to believe you if she did not get a favorable verdict. What message do you think this sends?
It's a horrible message. It's, as I said, a setback. It's a significant setback because that's exactly what it means. Unless you pull out your phone and you video your spouse or your significant other beating you, effectively, you won't be believed.
Elaine Charlson, Bretta Hoff, thank you very much for your time.
Bullshit. Sorry, no. You don't need to have yourself, let me bring this over, to have yourself recorded being beat. You do not need that. But you need at least this small amount of proof that makes sense. Now, when you look, the funny thing is when they showed those actual pictures of Amber where it looks like her cheeks, you can actually see Johnny telling his lawyer that's when she got Botox. You need some actual clear-cut evidence. I am 100% always on the side of the abused, of the victim. 100%. I will always support somebody if they've gone through something terrible. This isn't going to change that. I'm still in this situation supporting somebody who's a victim and went through something terrible. She didn't even have doctor's receipts. That's exactly right, Elon. Come on now. Quit gaslighting the people in your... I know that word's overused, but that's what you're doing. You're playing on ignorance. Everywhere community, thank you so much. Liana K says we are in the third wave feminists, but there are the modest and the normal third wave feminists. I would agree. The funny thing is when I had Liana on one time, I said I wanted to call it. When I first started Ladies' Night, I said I wanted to call it a feminist stream, like just because I know it'll make people mad. And she's like, "Why didn't you?" It's just another F word. It's not a dirty word. And I'm like, I know, but I also know how the idea of feminist is demonized in this culture, and unfortunately, it is. And unfortunately, that word has become a very, very dirty word, so I don't say it. Because some, and I mean a very loud, I would almost say majority. I would say the real good feminists are the minority in this situation. It's usually other way around, but we've seen so much crazy. Like, it's okay to tell jokes. It's okay to hit on a girl that you want, to have a date with. Those things are okay. But to the crazy in that kind of category, it's not, right? Thank you so much, everywhere community. I'm glad you cleared that up. I was not sure because I don't follow well close enough. That feminist is just another F word. That's right. And Liana K loves her F words. They're so funny. There are a lot of reasons feminism became a dirty word. Part of the history of feminism and social. Well, yeah, of course. But they've done a lot of good. You can't take that away either, right? You can't take that away knowing that they got simple things like being able to have a credit card in your name. Right? Like that's silly to me that we would think that a woman can't have some money of her own. There's a lot of things. Hominus has a 20-second video here we're gonna check out about Amber. I love this. Okay, so yesterday I posted this. This is the one. Basically, Amber Heard's verdict sends a message to Black women everywhere. And I kind of sat there and thought with it all night. At first, I laughed out loud. But then I'm like, I kind of see what they're going for here. Basically, they believe Amber. So put yourself in that mindset. They believe Amber. They're thinking if this white rich bitch can't get any sort of real fair justice, then what's the hope for them? That's where I think they're at with that. Yes, Robert, I see what you mean. That was way worse. But still, it's still from the same script, right? I think that's where they're going with this. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. I didn't actually read it. Do you not have music on this? Oh. Whoa. They got ratioed there. Though I will say, I don't know. Just because something got ratioed doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means popular consensus isn't there yet. But on this one, I would definitely, obviously you guys know I don't believe Amber. I don't believe that this is going to damper any sort of females speaking out. I don't think you should let it personally. And I also don't think you should step away from maybe being a little bit more due diligent on what you know, Amber, if anything, Amber taught us that's to believe facts and evidence. Is that?
No.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, I didn't see that part. But yeah, I don't like the ratio. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, ratioed." Like, I don't like that argument because I don't necessarily think that it's very easy. Like, oh, I forget what it was. Last year, something got ratioed, and it ended up being good. But it's very easy to send a hate mob to ratio something or downvote something. Like, it's very easy for these bigger platforms. Now, I couldn't ratio anything. Come on, let's be real. But a lot of the big platforms make content out of it on a normal basis. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys pick here. Amber is a grifter. She's gonna grift. Grifter's gonna grift. That's right. It proves that a white woman with blonde hair can be a dick. Just like yes. Yes. This is a better way to put it. That is just like everybody else. Just like everybody else. That is fucking hilarious. Oh my God. I love it. Okay. So would you guys rather, I want to talk about one more segment here. Would you guys rather take a look at the Court TV video where they talk about Amber Heard defaming Johnny Depp again, or do you want to talk about the appeal? I think both are good. I think the Court TV video was really good because it gets the aspect of not only the host's opinion, but actually for lawyers in that sort of situation. El ratio for you, Tris. Yes! Score! Love it. Come on, somebody. Court TV. We got one for Court TV. 2 for Court TV. I don't think it's coming. She has to have the money. How is she going to get the money? She has to have that in a trust. Like, she has to have the $8.35 million before she can appeal. We'll do the Court TV since Joseph is the only one who voted for appeal. I'm sorry. And then maybe I'll do a video. If we have time, we'll talk about it, but maybe I'll do a video on it too. This one, I watched part of it. I'm not going to lie. We'll give it a thumbs up. I watched part of it. And it was pretty interesting, but I didn't get through the whole thing. This one, it was good though. It was really good.
I don't want to call myself
we're not going to watch this all again.
Jury didn't think it was real.
No.
Jury didn't agree with Amber Heard. They agree with Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, the overwhelming winner today. We're live here outside the courthouse, Fairfax County, Virginia.
I'm going to move this over so
Amber
you guys
Heard, that was her speaking during the trial. Now, she didn't speak after this verdict, but she did release a statement. And I had to read it and reread it because I'm reading the statement and I'm thinking, is this statement that she's released?
I'm going to go through with him reading it.
$15 million from the jury be knocked down to 8.5. I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our cuts.
Oh, he's going through the different ones.
Hey, is it worse? Is it potential re-defamation? I think I made up a word today. Let me bring back in the think tank. Sue Ann Robinson, Nima Rahmani, Kirk Nermi with us. Kirk, your thoughts? I mean, was this a dangerous statement to release right after losing a defamation case?
I certainly think so. She kind of really doubled down, if you will, doubled down on the defamation, because what did she do? She sat there and said, this sets back women who are victims of domestic violence, like me. It included a direct reference to Johnny Depp. They didn't buy the evidence. I had all this evidence of abuse, but nobody bought it. It wasn't considered to be true by the jury. That makes it even more likely to be false, right? When we talk about the double down defamation, the
do you notice the, I'm not sure, I did release one little snippet of Court TV being pretty decent, but a lot of people were worried in the beginning that they were going to be very biased, right? Do you notice the shift? The shift in their processing here, they are very much so like, yeah, you have to honor what the court said.
Johnny Depp could pursue here, because this statement is all the stronger. Hey, I had a jury who said that this didn't happen. I had a jury that put $5 million of punitive damages in your lap, even though they're going to be reduced. And then you come out and say this. So yeah, she has absolutely, in my opinion, exposed herself to another defamation suit.
Like, why would you do this to yourself? I get it, you're doing the appeal, but why would you expose yourself, double down? Why would you not just move forward? Why would you not just say, I was sad, blah, blah, blah? Like, there are ways you could have said something. You should have just moved on.
Nima Rani, your thoughts?
I agree. It's the triple D, the double down defamation or redefamation. Let's look at the statements that she lost on. It was sexual violence, it was domestic abuse, and institutions protect men. Well, the last two were what she restated today on social media. So, and look, Amber, you're not going to be able to file bankruptcy because the jurors found that you acted with intent. Intentional torts aren't dischargeable.
Intentional torts are not dischargeable. She has to pay this because it was intentional. This is going to hang over her for the rest of her life. I can't believe it. It's mind-boggling how dumb she could be by posting that.
Johnny's going to have 30 years there in Virginia, 10 plus traditional, to really enforce this judgment if he wants to. So now you're saying it again, and Depp has already vindicated himself. So does he file another lawsuit? Probably not. She just needs to go away. I don't think she has.
Yeah, I don't think he's really going to. I think he's won. His story is out there. He was able. Bane, what the fuck are you doing? For real. Stop it. Stop. Go play. He's digging in my little jewelry thing. I'm just looking for something to. Oh, wait. Oh, I don't know what you did with your brush. Okay, sorry. Bane is being a mess. What was I saying? Yeah, I don't think he's going to. I don't think there's any chance that he's going to. But you're exactly right, Zodiac. Do you want a ponytail? Here. Is that what you want? No. He usually wants to play with one of my ponytails, and that makes him happy. But right now, he wants jewelry. I told you guys before. Bane's a little confused anyway. He's not going to. And I think Zodiac's right. That would be the biggest Chad move. Any money that he gets. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Go, Bane. Any money that he gets, he should donate. And it would give Bane his brush. That's what I was looking for. That's why I offered him a ponytail, but he doesn't want it. He just wants attention and playthings and to drive me crazy. Gingerlax, hello. How are you feeling today? Jenny, donating it to the Children's Hospital would be like the BAMF move. It would be the chatted move. Come on. And I get why you'd want to keep it. I do. I wouldn't even blame him, but it would be pretty cool.
There's any legal basis to appeal, and now that she's making additional statements, she's just creating more problems for herself.
Sue Ann Robinson, are you surprised that what she said in that statement was said and it was publicly released and published today?
I'm just gonna say she's doing too much. She should have just took her licks, take her $2 million, go about her business, figure out how she's going to take care of this judgment. There was no reason for her to release that statement at this time. Whoever wrote that statement needed to write the theme of the case.
I think it was probably her PR team. Having emergency surgery, oh my God. Or start a foundation. Yeah, that would be good too. You're having emergency surgery again? Oh my God. Everybody, can one of my mods get the link to Ginger Lex YouTube channel? She's awesome. She has some health issues and she's got to have emergency surgery at 6 p.m. I'm so sorry. I hope everything goes okay. I'll be keeping you in my thoughts and prayers and maybe be checking your channel every once in a while just to make sure that everything is okay. Goodness. There is a video court TV debunked TikTok conspiracies with the girl with the green dress. Oh, but I love her. I love her. Feeding tube is out of place. Oh my goodness. Here we go. That's Ginger Lack's channel. She's amazing. She really, really is.
Cross-examination of Johnny Depp and the objections during her cross-examination. At the end of the trial, they want to have a salient point to make. It's too late now. You lost.
Yep.
Take your licks and just go home. Deal with it. But to release a statement, as everyone said, that's doubling down on things that she's already been found liable for in a civil lawsuit that we all had to watch for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's disrespectful. Just stop, Amber. You're doing too much.
I love it. I love it how she's the one with the ball say, what you are doing is disrespectful to the court, the people involved, the jurors, the sheriff. You are being disrespectful to the American justice system. Somebody had the balls to say it. I'm glad she did.
Yeah, Kirk, I mean, we cover trials all the time. People win, people lose. When they lose, they don't think they should have lost. But just the fact that this was a defamation case, come out and make similar statements afterwards that you just, I can't believe that it was released. I'm shocked. I'm stunned at this point that she would release a statement like this. I can understand a statement that I'm disappointed that I lost, that they didn't believe me, right? I can understand that, but it goes so much further than that.
Yeah, you bet, Vinny. And I'm kind of not surprised by this, given her borderline diagnosis, right? I suspect her legal team had nothing to do with it. I suspect Amber, with her PR team, remember she hired a new one during the trial, came together with this. We're going to put this out because, in some ways, you know, I agree. She needs to go away and figure out how she's going to settle this judgment. But in another way, she has no choice, in some respect, to stick by her story and hope that enough people believe her that she is a bankable star. Because right now, I would think she's a toxic asset as an actress in Hollywood.
So good. He said she's a toxic asset in Hollywood. So I'm saying we learned that she made $1 million for Aquaman. She owes him $8.35 million. How many? She's not going to work as an actress, for one. How is she going to even begin to pay that? Not bankable, not bangable. That's funny. She's not going to make that much, even if she does get hired. It's likely she's not going to get hired. But even if she was making $500,000 a movie, that's still 16 movies. Think about how long that is going to take. I don't know how she's going to get through it. I honestly don't. Inquirer called Anna the most hated woman in Hollywood. Yeah. She was starting. That's honestly, J-Dubs, that's probably what she should do. Some of the OnlyFans model makes so much money. And if she needs to get her money, that's a way to do it. That is a way to do it. Honestly, that's not I know it's a joke, but it's not. That's the best way for her to do it. And I do think there are those people out there that are like, I'm just curious, right? I'm just curious. I bet there's even a few that do not like her. Don't forget taxes. Oh my God. She's so screwed. So screwed. Anyways, guys, I am going to wrap up. Thank you so much for listening to me yell at the screen about Amber Heard. I'm still a little bit in shock, but it's a really good Muskie will pay Johnny. I don't think so anymore. I don't. Maybe. But yeah, this is still great. It's still the I know we've gotten the verdict, but it's still kind of all unfolding before our eyes. So make sure you guys are subscribed. I will, of course, be putting up more stuff about this and hopefully have some comic book related stuff too. Yay, right? Everyone's like, oh God, this bitch and her comics. I will see you guys later.